Hello. By now we know the story written in the very early chapters of the book of Genesis, speaking about the Garden of Eden, is a present reality. The garden is located within every man. That precious garden, precious stones, dust of gold, gold of Ophir, and a stream flowing out from the midst of it represents the state of the inner man, which is the man of the spirit. It's all within a man. And that is the only place a man can find fulfillment. The joy, the peace, and the power that he seeks, that assurance that he seeks. It's all within his very self. And right here and now you have the tree of good and evil and the tree of life. The tree of good and evil and the tree of life. And God says, the Spirit says, because the Spirit never changes, it's always the same, it says, don't partake of that tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That tree of the knowledge of good and evil is actually one and the same thing with that serpent that administers it. The serpent that crawls on the earth, on the dust, it is none other than the carnal mind. And the carnal mind is unable to discern the things of God. The carnal mind is unable to discern that God is all in all. The carnal mind is unable to discern that is the Lord manifesting himself in all things. And in so doing, it lives in darkness, pure outer darkness. And darkness is synonymous with death. So the Spirit says, don't partake of that. Don't partake of that which is carnal, of the carnal mind. But live by the Spirit, the tree of life. The Spirit, the tree of life, illumines your eyes to see the Lord that filleth all in all as the waters covers the sea. To live again, to find the joy of your salvation, to find the peace and fulfillment you seek, you must let go of the knowledge of good and evil. It's knowledge of contrasts. And when you live by that realm, you are simply not recognizing that one eternal life which fills all in all as the waters covers the sea. That one eternal life is within you all. He is appearing as you all. And that is the life. That is the life of God. That life is. And we are admonished to recognize that life and live by that life. No more the pointing of the fingers. No more the lamenting. But accepting all things with thanksgiving. No more curses. No more blessings. No more good, no more evil. No more sickness. No more health. No more poverty, no more riches. But all are God's. We can open our eyes to recognize God. He's high and lifted up, exalted above all. And besides him, there is none else. In the last chapter of the book of Revelations, it goes back to that same beginning, that same garden. See, the messenger reveals to the Apostle John a garden city with a stream flowing in the midst of it and trees on either side. And it goes on to say, in that city there is no more curse. These ones see the one who is seated on the throne. They see God, they serve God, and they have his name written on their foreheads. This is the last chapter of the book of Revelations. It speaks of the conclusion of the matter. And here we have a key. We see that these people have left the realms of contrast, and their eyes are open to behold God. Their eyes are open to behold that one Spirit that fills all in all. And they live by that one Spirit. They walk by that one Spirit. They identify themselves by that one Spirit, because he that is joined to the Lord is one Spirit. Can we stop pointing the fingers? Can we leave aside the mentality of blessing a brother and cursing another? Can we begin to learn to love all equally, and to serve all equally, and to respect all equally, and reverence that presence that is all in all? If you can do this, you see yourself entering back into your innocence and accessing the all power. Praise God. The great teacher says, to enter into God's kingdom, you must be like a child. A child is not aware of good and evil. A child in his own innocence lives and enjoys and is provided for. And you cannot enter into that kingdom except you are converted back into that innocence. And this comes by recognition. Recognition that the eyes of the understanding are opened to see and recognize just the Lord. Then contrast ceases, good and evil ceases. Good and evil is only a product of the carnal mind. Good and evil is not able to discern that there is only God. So let us recognize him, reverence that presence, fall in love with that presence. Let the eyes be opened as you return back to your place in Eden. It says, return to your first love, and I will give you access to that tree that is in the midst of the garden, meaning a return back to the center, a return back to the source, a return back to the sweet spot where the streams thereof make glad the heart. Praise God. This is not a sermon, but it's just a reminder as we walk through this life. Say it. Like Paul says, the days are evil. Why are they evil? Because in the physical realm, you have the temptations. Say it. To contend with because of the lowly form of the flesh. But the Father will give you wings to fly as an eagle over every situation. Praise God. I will say one thing before I close. That when we live by the tree of life, we love the brethren. We live by the Spirit. We recognize the brethren. We walk in oneness. We speak with one language. And this is the will of God. This is the end of the faith. In this newfound consciousness, the power is restored 100-fold. And all things are positively possible. God bless you.